Hello and welcome back. It's Premier League predictions week 1. I'm back for my 6th year of doing it, and it is at Old Trafford. It's Manchester United versus Fulham. Favourites are obviously going to be Man United, but Rasmus Højlund is injured till September. He's not going to be able to play. Erik ten Hag has come out and said Xerxes isn't going to be in the starting 11 and it's going to take him time to get in for the next few weeks. So two decent, good Premier League quality strikers are not going to be able to start. So that's a bit of a concerning issue. But considering Man United at home, I think they will get it over the line against Fulham. Manchester United are the better side, even with Yoro coming in being injured, even with Luke Shaw still being injured, even with them without having a striker. I still feel like they'll win this game just because of all the other positions being quite quality. And also, we look at Fulham, Palhinha's gone. He was kind of the heart of that Fulham side. I feel like their squad has also decreased, but they've still got Smith Rowe, so I feel like they'll still get a goal. But without Palhinha in that middle, I think it's going to be such a huge asset. And Man United, with the quality they have, will get a win. But I do feel like it'll be tight because Fulham always compete against any team from 20th to 1st. They're that mid-table side that always compete. And because Man United don't really have their striker situation sorted out for this game, I feel like it will be tight. But without Palhinha, I don't think you've got a chance. But you still will give it a great go. And it'll be a very common scoreline, being tactical there, going for a common scoreline. 2-1 to Manchester United come the final whistle. And now we move over to Portland Road. It's Ipswich Town taking on Liverpool. Ipswich Town back in the Premier League. It's another 12:30 PM kickoff for Liverpool. And sometimes shockers can happen at 12:30 PM to these big clubs. Arne Slot has sorted out the Liverpool side, as Liverpool been fantastic in pre-season. He's got them sorted out. He's already gelled with Liverpool quite quickly. I am going towards Liverpool, but at Portland Road, okay, Ipswich aren't used to losing, as they've only lost 10 in the last 2 seasons. Kieran McKenna is going to play some great attacking football. And with Leif Davis whipping it into the box and Ipswich Town playing that attacking style of football, I feel like they will get a goal against Liverpool. But I don't feel like Ipswich are going to concede 3 or 4 goals because they've got Muric in goal. And I said in my table predictions how much I rate Muric. I think he's an absolute great goalie. And with Leif Davis playing fantastic last season, a great defender, and bringing in Greaves, which is also another great defender, I don't see them conceding any more than 2 goals in this game, especially at home, especially with the momentum Ipswich had. But I feel like they will score a goal with great attacking style of play. Leif Davis is going to whip it into the box, and Hutchinson's going to get a tap in and put it into the net, and they're going to get a goal. But it'll be 1-0 at half time. But in Liverpool fashion, like last season, they always went 1-0 down. They're going to get back into it, and they're going to be able to score 2 goals. They come on the comeback, and they've been fantastic in pre-season. I just see Liverpool just about nicking it 2-1 away from home. As we move over to the Emirates Stadium, it is Arsenal versus Wolverhampton Wanderers. Arsenal at home against Wolves, which lost Kilman and Pedro Neto. At the end of last season, they were going through some terrible times, and Arsenal are just the much better side, and they've been strengthened with Calafiori. It just feels like nothing but an Arsenal win. Absolute battering, 3-0 to Arsenal come the final whistle. And we move to the second 3 PM kickoff on the 17th of August, and it's at Goodison Park. It's Everton versus Brighton, hands over Albion. Everton, I'm looking at it, Jarrett Branthwaite's going to miss this game. That's a huge loss, considering the defence is really good. Jarrett Branthwaite's not going to be there. Coleman's not going to be there. Patterson's not going to be there. Those are some huge players gone. And also Garner's injured as well, and I think he's a huge miss, especially without Onana in the middle. It is huge. But we could possibly see Injadi, I probably butchered that name, playing striker, which is good to see. I think that's a great bit of business, considering he was probably the best player for Sheffield United in the Championship. He comes in, he's a good striker, but it's not going to work straight away in my opinion. I actually had this down 1-0 a few seconds ago. But I did a bit of research, and with all the injuries that Everton have coming into this, considering Brighton have been really well in pre-season, and Yankuba Minter and everyone coming in, and considering the striker signing of Inyadi is going to take time for him to fit in, I feel like they won't score a goal, because usually Everton struggle with strikers and scoring goals, and considering Brighton had such a good start last season, I feel like they can win it. They're scoring so many goals. They're definitely going to score past the defence. And I might say 2-0, but still, Everton still have a good defence despite all the defending injuries. But I am going 1-0 to Brighton, hands over Albion come the final whistle. It's at St James's Park. It's Newcastle United versus Southampton. Newcastle obviously do have a few injuries, but still, Newcastle still have a quality side, and it's not as many injuries as it was last season. Newcastle got a great side, a much better side than Southampton. They won the Championship last year. They did well to get up, but going against Newcastle, especially away from home, I see nothing but a Newcastle win. I'm going 2-0 to Newcastle United. A very nice, comfortable, dominant performance. As we move on to the last 3 PM kickoff, it's at the City Ground. It's Nottingham Forest versus AFC Bournemouth. Now, AFC Bournemouth have lost Solanke, but they still have you now. And at times he did look good, but I believe he's actually injured. I don't know whether he's going to be available for this game. Considering Solanke's left, I don't see Bournemouth winning this, especially away from home. It's going to be hard without that main striker, so I don't think they're going to win it. And I'm more tipping Nottingham Forest because they're at home and they don't have many injuries, and they've still got Anthony Elanga, which should be playing in top 6 football because he's that good. Still got Hudson-Odoi, which in my opinion is going to score an absolute screamer because he definitely scored a couple of screamers last year. I think Hudson-Odoi will score in this game. He's got Chris Wood, which scored a hat-trick against Newcastle. I don't know how he did it in that fashion. He performed really well last year. Awoniyi as well. They bring in Milinkovic, but I still feel like Bournemouth will not lose this game. Iriola's too good of a manager to say they're going to lose. The squad is still pretty decent. They brought in a good defender as well. So I think this will be a draw, but I would not be surprised for a Nottingham Forest win, and I was tempted to start off with a Nottingham Forest win. So I'm going down the middle, sitting on the fence for a 1-1 draw. As we now move on to the mighty London Stadium, West Ham United versus Aston Villa. This is going to be so hard to predict. Aston Villa, obviously under Unai Emery, they're fantastic. The signings of Ross Barkley, the signings of Onana to replace Douglas Luiz, but I feel like this will be quite high scoring. I know West Ham United have brought in Max Kilman and Wan-Bissaka to the defence, and I feel like they will concede much less than 74 goals last year because they have actually increased the quality in their defence. So I don't feel like it'll always be high scoring. This is just an exception because Aston Villa are such a good team that they are going to score loads of goals because of how good that team is. But West Ham's going to have to counteract it with players like Somerville, and with Leeds United he did very well, over 20 goals, and with Fulham coming in. I mean, West Ham, each time they bring in a striker, you know, it happens multiple times, they just seem to never perform. But Fulham could be different. He's an experienced striker alongside Jared Bowen. James Ward-Prowse is going to have a lot of free kicks to score goals, and he is going to score a lot of goals. And because Aston Villa are a great team, they're going to score a lot of goals. But because West Ham did fantastic in the transfer market and they have a great quality side, I feel like they will be able to also counteract Aston Villa, especially being at home. Home advantage is actually quite a big factor when it comes into games, and I feel like they will be able to get something against Aston Villa. I think both teams could finish in a similar position. Both teams are very good. Both teams are going to be fighting for Europe. I'm going for a very high scoring, exciting 3-3 thrilling game. Moving on to a whole new day. It is at the GTEC Community Stadium. It's Brentford versus Crystal Palace. Now I look at this game and it feels like I should go 1-1. But looking at it, Brentford, Rigo Henry's still injured. And I said in my table predictions, their fullbacks aren't good enough. Aaron Hickey, I think, could be a fantastic fullback, but I don't think he's going to be ready to be in the side. And he's been suffering with injury. I still feel like they need fullbacks. They have brought in Fabio Carvajal though, and I don't know whether I pronounced that right, but it doesn't matter. Central attacking midfielder from Liverpool. That's a decent signing. That's good for the midfield, but I still feel like they need better fullbacks. I may be wrong, but I just feel like Crystal Palace with Sarr coming in. I've seen what he did with Watford, and the last time I've seen him play was with Watford, and he was pretty good. And I'm sure that Oliver Glanzer, if he managed to transform Mateta, he's going to be able to transform Sarr. And Oliver Glanzer got Crystal Palace cooking some fantastic football at the end of last season, and it continues with a 3-1 win against West Ham, a 3-1 win against Wolves. Their form is fantastic in pre-season. The form was fantastic at the end of last season. The signings are decent, but Brentford, Carvajal, like I said, he came in, but he's only just come in the 12th of August, and I don't know whether he's going to start straight away. So already, we don't know whether he's going to start. They bring Igor Thiago, but I think he's injured. I know they have Ivan Toney and Mbeumo and Wissa, and I feel like they will get a goal because they've got a good attack. But I honestly feel like Crystal Palace just seems such strong and a premium, great side in pre-season. They keep up their form, and it just feels like they're going to be able to win against Brentford. I could be wrong, and I was tempted to go 1-1 draw, especially Brentford drawing a lot of times in the last 2 years, especially in their first season up from the Premier League, and especially that they've drew a lot in pre-season. I wouldn't be surprised for a draw, but I'm going to have to go for the team which I think is better, and I'm going to have to go with Crystal Palace. I'm going for a 3-1 win towards Crystal Palace with the likes of Eze, Mateta and now Sarr. Their attack is flourishing. And we move over to Stamford Bridge. It's Chelsea versus Manchester City. And Chelsea, you could say, are currently in a mess. And they are. It just seems a bit... You don't know how Chelsea's going to perform. They could finish mid-table. They could finish in a European placement. The quality of the side is probably one of the best in the Premier League. And considering they're home here, I think they have a chance. And not only that... Last year, they did really well against top 6 clubs, and why would that go away? And so last year, they managed to get 2 points of Man City and drew both times. They challenged against Arsenal last year, and they should have won that game, but they only drew it 2-2 because of a mistake from Sanchez. They did well against Liverpool to draw as well, and they always compete against the top 6 teams. They compete against teams that always have possession-based football. And I feel like with Nkunku now being there and less injuries starting off the season here, and with Cole Palmer in that side as well, I know they've got too many players. You don't know who their starting 11 is going to be, and I don't think they'll win it because Chelsea is in a bit of a mess for all their transfers, got too many players. I don't really know their starting 11, so I don't think they'll win it. So I wouldn't be surprised for Man City 2-3-1 win. Almost every time in the Premier League, there's usually at least 1 or 2 games a week where it's an absolute shocker and team surprise. So I feel like I'm going to trickle that into the Chelsea-Man City game. But with all the other stuff I've also said into that as well, it does back up the reasoning to why I'm going 2-2 as well. But I don't know, I could be an absolute mug. And the next game's at the King Power Stadium. Newly promoted Leicester City facing Tottenham Hotspur. I mean, straight away, Tottenham are obviously the favourites. Jamie Vardy and Daka, their 2 strikers, are injured. Jamie Vardy suffers more injuries. You know what? I think Jamie Vardy is still a good striker. He had 18 starts, scored 18 goals. And when he was in the Premier League last, he also suffered with injuries. That's why he didn't score many. But he's injured again. And Dak is also injured, I believe. I don't know for how long, and I don't think they're going to be available for the game coming up. So they don't really have a striker, so Tottenham will definitely win this. But Leicester City, I think, will get a goal. Because Tottenham, Ange Postecoglou, had such an attacking mindset, such an attacking tactics. And they left so many gaps at the back. So I feel like Leicester, with Fatawu and Mavidi, 2 really great wingers last year, I think can capitalise on the open defence of Tottenham Hotspur. And I feel like they will score, but only 1 because they've still got Vicario in goal. He's a world-class goalie. They've still got Van de Ven. He's fast, and it's good to have a fast centre-back, and he's a good defender. So I think they only score 1 goal, but I feel like they will definitely score a goal, Leicester City, with the wingers they have. But nothing more than that, because also their strikers are injured. But there's some great talents there, and Tottenham are a better side, even at the King Power. But I am going to make it close. I'm going to make it 2-1 to Spurs, but it will be a very convincing win for Spurs, despite the close result. Those are all 10 games predicted. Let me know, am I a mug for saying 2-2 between Chelsea and Man City? But get your predictions down below. Hopefully you enjoyed this video. If you want, you can like and subscribe if you enjoyed. But for now, toodle pip.